What is going on, guys? This is the SS Ultimate Goku back with another video, and today I'm going to be talking about this whole speculation thing that's coming out of the Deadpool Wolverine movie. Um, Obviously, I went to go see Deadpool and Wolverine the first Tuesday it came out on that lower price day on Regal. Um, Haven't got a chance to go see it again, but that's not because I don't want to go see it again. It's just I've been extremely busy. But I do want to try to go see it at least one more time before it goes out of the theaters. It's still in the theaters right now. I highly recommend if you guys have a chance to go see it. It is a great movie. But the one thing that is coming out of the Wolverine, the Deadpool Wolverine movie. I want to say Wolverine Deadpool movie. Let's face it, Wolverine was the man of this movie. I just put it out there. Just saying. But anyways, so the one thing about this movie that I've been hearing from people that are, putting up their fan speculation right now is in the one variant, of Wolverine, because pretty much when they did the variant scene for Wolverine, it was pretty much everybody was Hugh Jackman, including the short, quote-unquote, comic book accurate Wolverine was Hugh Jackman, but his face was CGI'd on the actor. Because a lot of people are saying, well, it was a different actor. It's like, yeah, of course, dummy, it was a different actor, but Hugh Jackman's face was CGI'd on it, so it could look like Hugh Jackman. But the one Wolverine that was not CGI'd or was not Hugh Jackman as Wolverine was this variant Wolverine that was Henry Cavill. And Deadpool kind of even noted to this, the cavalry has arrived, because he can break the fourth wall. He knows who the actors are, that are portraying the characters, right? He knows who they are. They don't know that, but he does. So they did this cameo scene, and it was a cool scene, and, for what it was, Henry Cavill did a very good job being Wolverine for the minute that he was. I think about a minute that he was Wolverine. And this 1 minute cameo, let's face it, this 1 minute cameo of him being Wolverine was far greater, far better than anything he did as that overrated superhero Superman. We all know that because Superman is a terrible character in itself, but that's for another thing. But anyways, so Henry Cavill did the Wolverine for about a minute, and it was what it was. It was a good cameo. But now I'm seeing a lot of people talking about that Henry Cavill is going to be the mainline Wolverine. He's going to be the new Wolverine when Hugh Jackman finally steps down. He's going to be the mainline Marvel Wolverine, the 616 Wolverine. He's going to be the main MCU Wolverine. And I hate to break this to you guys, he is not going to be the MCU Wolverine, and I'm almost certain he's not. People are overhyping this more than it needs to be. The fact of the matter is, Kevin Feige and Ryan Reynolds, they know fan castings. They did it with John Krasinski, who was the Reed Richards, cameo character, right? Who, by the way, everybody was under the assumption that he was going to be the MCU Reed Richards in Fantastic Four. Oh, how did that one turn out, guys? Didn't happen. Henry Cavill is basically another one of those guys in this. He was cameoed for the character And that was nothing more, nothing less because of people's fan expectations and rumors of him possibly being the character going forward, which, of course, was just more fan casting, not actually real legitimacy. And that's basically what I think this is. I don't believe anything that this is going to turn into him being Wolverine. And regardless if this is somehow true or not, which I don't believe it is, but let's say hypothetically that he is being pushed to be the next Wolverine by the MCU or by Kevin Feige or whoever. Let's say hypothetically that is the case. Okay? Let's say hypothetically that is the case. After this movie that Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds did, I guarantee you Disney is basically telling Hugh Jackman, if you want to stay on as Wolverine, you can stay on as long as you want. Because Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds made them $1 billion. Disney's first MCU $1 billion. Their solo film, because I'm not counting the Spider-Man solo films, because again, that was done by Sony. That wasn't really done by Sony, but Sony owns the rights. They get the majority of the box office money. So I don't count any of the solo Spider-Man movies because Sony gets the most money out of all those tickets that are sold for the theater box office. So I don't count any of that. Disney gets a little bit. They got a lot more in the last solo Spider-Man movie, but they didn't get nearly as much as Sony got for the box office tickets for those billion dollar Spider-Man movies, for those MCU solo Spider-Man movies. So I don't count those. Okay, if you want to count those, that's fine, but I don't count that because again, Sony raked more of the profits for it. So in terms of a MCU movie that was 100% financed for Disney, and Disney reaped 100% of the benefits, they haven't had a $1 billion movie since Endgame. Okay? That's facts on facts. Okay? Again, not counting Spider-Man movies because those are Sony. Okay? So, Hugh Jackman and Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds made Disney the first $1 billion movie for them that they 100% reaped the benefits from since Endgame. Okay? So, I guarantee you, Disney executives are basically telling Hugh Jackman, and even Ryan Reynolds for his character, okay, as Deadpool, they basically are telling him, hey, you guys, I know, Hugh, you've been teasing retiring and then unretiring as being Wolverine. You want to stay on? We're going to let you be on until whenever you want. Now, I know this is the cliche of the movie, because in the movie, Deadpool literally said that he was going to play the character until he was 90. I don't think Hugh Jackman's actually going to play the character until he's 90, but he basically is going to be able to play the character as long as he wants at this point. Whenever Hugh Jackman does actually want to hang up the claws for good, and not actually decide to basically unretire, pull the Brett Favre and unretire again. Basically, Disney's basically going to be like, Hugh, if you want to stay on as Wolverine, you can stay on as Wolverine as long as you want, because they're making us money. And obviously, Kevin Feige, he's good friends with Hugh Jackman. He's been good friends with Hugh Jackman since the beginning, before people even knew who Kevin Feige was, because he was just a low-level Marvel guy when the first X-Men was being created back in 2000, and Hugh Jackman still listened to him on his advice of being Wolverine. And this is when he was a no-name and Hugh Jackman was just an up-and-comer. So, obviously, they have a lot of good, they're good friends. So the only reason why they hadn't been able to work with each other for all these years, once Kevin Feige started doing his thing in the MCU and creating the MCU, was because obviously Fox owned the rights to X-Men and he was already Wolverine. So he couldn't just go to the MCU and be someone else. He couldn't be Wolverine in the MCU because of his obligations to Fox. But now that the Fox characters are now owned by Marvel again and Disney, now he can finally work with Kevin Feige. And now that's why you finally get to see Wolverine in the MCU. So now he can finally work with him. Okay, and obviously the first movie that they've been able to work together under the MCU banner, well, technically it's the remnants of the Fox universe into the MCU, or technically they didn't go to the MCU, but you get the point. They finally got to work with each other, together since the MCU had been created. So, fact of the matter is, Hugh Jackman is not going anywhere. He's going to be in Secret Wars. I'm almost certain he's going to be in Secret Wars. Maybe he's going to be even in Doomsday because of, the Doom movie, the Doctor Doom movie. Because, I mean, let's face it, with the $1 billion hit that Hugh Jackman just pulled off with Ryan Reynolds, why not put him with Robert Downey Jr.? I mean, Robert Downey Jr. was literally the original face of the MCU. He was the original face. He was the cornerstone of the start of the Marvel Cinematic Universe as Iron Man, right? But Hugh Jackman was the cornerstone of essentially the start of what could be the MCU when Fox created X-Men. Now, obviously, of course, we had, even before that, we did have Blade, obviously. But Blade was kind of the anti-hero thing, where Wolverine was a definitive superhero in that sense. He kind of kickstarted this all, in a way, because this is what led to them wanting to make an MCU at some point. So I could see them being like, let's put Hugh Jackman against Robert Downey Jr., who's now a villain, as Doctor Doom. I mean, let's think about it. Let's think about it logistically at this point. You have the two faces of Marvel in cinematic. You got the original Marvel cinematic face from the Fox universe that really started all of this. And then you got Robert Downey Jr., now a villain character as Doctor Doom, who started all the Marvel Cinematic Universe as Iron Man. Okay? I think it would be a pretty good deal. And that might be something that they might be considering if Hugh Jackman is interested in it. But this whole idea of Henry Cavill being the next Wolverine, I just think this is just more fan hype at this point. Trying to take in the contents of a simple, fun cameo that people are reading more into than what is actually there. Okay? Does it matter that Wolverine is tall and muscular instead of being short, comic book accurate? No, it does not matter. I don't think it matters. I don't know why so many people are obsessed with it. We literally went 24 years with Hugh Jackman as being tall. I don't think it matters that he's tall. I don't think it matters that Wolverine is tall. I really don't. It is one characteristic. It is one inaccurate characteristic of the character in cinematic that really doesn't matter. Hugh Jackman put his heart and soul into the character for 24 years. Still to this day, the longest cinematic superhero movie actor ever to play the character this long. I don't think there's ever going to be anybody who plays the character as long as Hugh Jackman. And again, it is just amazing, at how long he has played the character for. When you consider all the greats that have played superhero characters over the years. When you think of Michael Keaton, you think of Robert Downey Jr., obviously. You think of Chris Evans. You think of, you name it. You name it. You think of any different superhero actor that has played an iconic superhero character in cinema. Hugh Jackman's the only one that has lasted the test of time, that has lasted this long on the big screen. 24 years, that is a long time, to be the playing the same character, same superhero character that long. And also, he is the only one who never, until this movie, wear the yellow suit, the comic book accurate yellow suit, which he's finally gotten to wear, which, again, is what everybody has waited for. Fox wouldn't allow it. Finally, they're allowed to have it because now they have creative freedom. And, of course, Kevin Feige wanted it to happen, if they were going to have Hugh Jackman playing Wolverine again, and he wanted to come back. That was going to be what was going to happen. He was going to have that. He was going to have that suit on. Make no mistake about it. Ryan Reynolds was going to make sure. Everybody was like, you got to have that suit. This is the time now to get the suit that you have been missing out on for 20 years. And not saying that the older suits that he had before, were, bad, but, in this, really, the yellow suit should have been, if we're being completely honest, the yellow suit, when they originally rebooted the X-Men, like when they did the soft reboot, after the original trilogy had ended, and they started showing some of the yellows in the X-Men, that's really when Hugh Jackman should have had the yellow suit. That was when he should have had when they did the soft reboot into the next trilogy that they did for the X-Men. And they started they started having the X-Men wear the yellow stuff. That's when they should have had Hugh Jackman wear the yellow suit. That's when Fox should have done it. But of course, Fox just, Fox just couldn't get over the fact that, they had to have Wolverine not wear the yellow suit because they just didn't like it. But again, the idea of Henry Cavill being Wolverine, I just think is more of fan speculation and expectation that they just putting on themselves and just not understanding that this, I believe, was a cameo. And that was what it all intended to be, especially after the box office success. There's just no way that this is going to be what happened. There's just no way. And now again, if Hugh Jackman ever wants to step down, it could open up Henry Cavill or some other Wolverine actor or some other actor. But right now, in my opinion, the ball is in Hugh Jackman's court. Literally. Because I don't think Disney, now, after seeing how good that movie was, and how well it was received, and how much money they're raking in, literally, Scrooge McDuck is, like, swimming in it, as he always does with swimming in that gold. I don't know how you say, oh yeah, we're not going to have another Hugh Jackman appearing as Wolverine. Man, I would even go so far to do another Hugh Jackman Wolverine movie that involves origins. For example, that variant scene. There was a variant scene where Hugh Jackman confronts the Hulk, which is another pitch that Hugh Jackman for years wanted to do. That was something else that Hugh Jackman wanted to do before, this was done in interviews that he had done before Disney had purchased Fox. Was one of his top dreams of being Wolverine was facing off against the Hulk, because that was one of the original stories of the introduction of the Wolverine character in the comic books, was him confronting the Incredible Hulk and fighting the Hulk. This was something that he wanted to do. That's something, that's something that I think Hugh Jackman should push for. If we're going to do another Wolverine movie with Wolverine being the main guy, I think we should do Hugh Jackman versus Mark Ruffalo's Hulk. I don't know what you call the title, because obviously, the Incredible Hulk is still kind of tied up with Universal in distribution rights, so maybe you have to call it Wolverine Origins or something like that. I don't know, they actually technically already have that, but with Fox, but something to that effect, but I would try to, pitch for a movie like that, with Hugh Jackman, and kind of spin off on that scene, that variant scene that they did with Wolverine as Hugh Jackman against the Incredible Hulk. That's one of the things that I think they should try to figure out, if they could pull that off. They already kind of hinted at, why Deadpool was, crying with the Thor or whatever, with that one cameo scene, which is going to probably lead into something later on during Secret Wars. Well, why not do something that leads into that variant scene with Hugh Jackman's Wolverine against the Incredible Hulk? Why not do a movie like that? This is something that Hugh Jackman really wanted to do years ago when he interviewed. Why not do that? That's something that you could do as well for a full-length movie. But again, the skies are the limit for what they can do with Hugh Jackman's Wolverine, or all these different variant Wolverines that he's already established with. And I'm sorry, Henry Cavill or any of these other potential actors who could step in and be Wolverine, it's going to be put on hold. It really is. It's going to be put on hold, because the ball is literally going to be in Hugh Jackman's court. If he wants to retire as the character officially, and this time be definitively, where he's like, I'm definitely not coming back anymore, then they could start looking for the new Wolverine. But right now, the ball's in his court, and I guarantee you they're going to go for doing a movie with Hugh Jackman as Wolverine again, over doing a movie with a Henry Cavill as Wolverine, or any other potential actor being Wolverine. I would go so far that they might put the hold on the entire X-Men, the rebooted X-Men, whenever they decide to reboot X-Men. Because why do you need to? Why do you need to rush the X-Men? The X-Men is already a popular brand. Okay? It's not like the Fantastic Four. The Fantastic Four franchise has been completely damaged from Fox, because of the reboot that they did in 2018 or whatever it was. That movie was horrible. Obviously, it was a disaster. Obviously, the 2005 and the 2007 movies weren't great Fantastic Four movies. They were decent. I still like them. I still thought they were great movies, but obviously they weren't that great of movies in comparison to the other superhero movies that have been put out. And never, Fantastic Four has never really had that signature movie, like the Iron Man has had, or many others. So that's why they're focusing on the Fantastic Four over the X-Men, because the X-Men still, despite Fox's own faults on certain movies that they did with the X-Men, they still had great X-Men movies that came out. Okay, the original, the second one, they still had good movies of the X-Men. Okay, so they still had the popularity in that sense. So that's why Disney and especially Kevin Feige isn't that much in a rush to get the X-Men out, for the MCU. Hugh Jackman coming back as Wolverine is more and less because they know he can, make a lot of money for them. But I don't think we're going to see any X-Men's in terms of being in the MCU anytime soon until we get the Fantastic Four out and see how good the Fantastic Four does in the MCU. Because that's something that I think Feige is really, really stressing on, because he wants to make the Fantastic Four a better brand, especially after the damage Fox did to it. So, again, don't expect Henry Cavill to be coming anytime soon as Wolverine, or if anything, Henry Cavill could probably play a different superhero within Marvel. That isn't Wolverine in the meantime too. It's not, he doesn't have to be Wolverine. Okay, there's a lot of different options out there, and I'm sure there's new superheroes that are going to be coming up the pike very soon as well. So again, I think more people are putting more expectations than there actually needs to be. But that's all I gotta say. I'm out. Comment, rate, flex this video, my videos. Please subscribe. Hit that notification bell for all these contents. Thank you. And that's about it. I am the SS Ultimate Goku. Peace. Also, make sure to subscribe to the SS Ultimate Goku on the YouTube, the Twitch, the Instagram, and also I do have a Discord link in the description where I discuss a lot of various topics, as well as my YouTube tier list or membership list. So yeah. I'm out now. Peace.